Okay, good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm Frances Beinecke, President of the Natural Resources Defense Council, as Layla Monroe said earlier. And it's my pleasure to be the moderator of this panel discussion this morning on waste management, upstream waste management. I know that there are many experts in the room, and we are fortunate enough to have 4 leading experts on the panel. They will each speak for around 5 minutes, make their presentations, and then we hope we will have an animated discussion with the audience, because I know there are a lot of experts here. I was very excited by the previous presentation by Evan, because in the end we have to solve the plastics problem by other kinds of products. In the meantime, however, there are tremendous volumes of plastic waste being generated each and every day, and as Layla Monroe mentioned, our concern at NRDC is particularly the amount of waste that gets into the marine environment and the serious consequences that is having. And so we have to look at where is the source of that waste in the marine environment, and 80% of the waste in the ocean is coming from land. So we have to look at our waste management systems on land, look increasingly upstream at where the source of the waste is and what the innovative approaches are to managing that waste. So today we have 4 speakers who each in their own way is an expert in innovative approaches to waste management, and they're going to share their experiences with us, and then we will be able to have a discussion about what direction we need to go in waste management to get plastics out of the marine environment and managed in a much more environmentally and public health sensitive way. So our first speaker this morning, and I will introduce each speaker as we go along so you have the latest information. Our first speaker on my left is Mariel Vilella, who's the Climate Policy Director from GAIA. GAIA is a worldwide alliance of 600 groups in 90 countries that are fighting incinerators and promoting waste management. She works on waste and recycling project guidelines for major sources of climate finance, and in 2011 was the lead author of a report called the European Union's Double Standards on Waste Management and Climate Policy. She works in collaboration with GAIA members and coalitions worldwide that are promoting zero waste policies and practices, and that foster the participation and inclusion of waste workers and communities. So let's start this presentation with Mariel. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Oops. Thank you very much. I'm Mariel Vilella. I work with GAIA, the Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives, and I would like to put EPR in a wider perspective. When we talk about EPR, Standard Producer Responsibility, we talk about waste. And waste many times looks like this. And that's disgusting, and nobody likes that. And I'm not going to go into the problem because we're here precisely because we are very aware what the problem is. What is that we like? We like zero waste. Yeah, that sounds so much better. But what is that we understand by zero waste? Zero waste in the concept is a system in which all products that we put out there can be returned into society or into nature, respecting the limits of natural resources, the needs of communities, and the needs of the informal recyclers. In practice, zero waste means that nothing is wasted, which means practically that nothing goes to landfills or to incinerators. And how do we do that? In fact, when we look at waste, most of it is recyclable or compostable. The organic treatment of organic waste, it's not only compostable, it can only be turned into biogas through anaerobic digestion. In Hernani, in Spain, where we see one of the successful examples of implementation of a zero waste strategy, they implemented door-to-door collection of organics and recyclables, and in 1 year they managed to drop the fraction of residual waste by 80%. This is a bucket where people put their organic waste and leave it in the street, and there's an amazing system that collects everything in the city. In Flanders, in Belgium, they have implemented similar strategies. And on top of separate collection, the government implemented landfill and incineration restrictions. Plus, they applied an environmental tax for ton of waste landfill and ton of waste incinerated. This tax raised $36 million, 40% of which is given to waste prevention programs. And this is how a waste prevention program looks like: raising awareness and making sure that people understand that when you're buying waste or not. We do have a choice. So, with similar strategies as well, I think it's pretty amazing to look at Taiwan. In Taiwan, they managed to reduce their waste generation even though they raised their GDP. That's like challenging the equation that we normally see. The economy grows, the population grows, waste grows. In Taiwan, actually, they did manage to do the opposite. When we look at the South, it is crucial within a zero-waste approach to engage with the informal recyclers. In Pune, in India, there is a co-op of recyclers that is organizing 2,000 waste pickers that provide a service to collect waste door to door to 330,000 households in a contract with the municipality. So they really managed to integrate the informal sector within the waste management system of the city. It is crucial for a zero-waste approach to engage with communities. It's not only about integrating the residents into the design, monitoring, implementation of a program. The informal recycling center represents 1% of the population in the world. We're talking about between 15 or 20 million people, and zero-waste approach should not work towards their exclusion, but the opposite, work towards their inclusion. But so when we have separated waste and we have collected separately and we're doing all these amazing things, but we go into the landfill and still we can see that residual fraction. That is where that things that we cannot recycle, we cannot reuse, we cannot compose, what is that? We need to make that very visible in order to tackle it. In Capanori, in Italy, they did that. They raised the percentage of waste diversion from landfills was amazing. And they went into that and they found that these coffee Lavazza things that are so popular, they couldn't do anything with that. So it's aluminum that you can recycle, but it's together with coffee that it's kind of very difficult to deal with that. So they actually went to Lavazza and said, look, Lavazza, you're making a problem here. What are you going to do about that? They're engaging with that, and they're working on solutions to stop making things that cannot be recycled. Because otherwise, what could we do? Do we want to keep doing what's been done until now? That's really not a solution for the future. That's really not, we don't want to continue doing that. We know that that's toxic emissions, that's climate change, that's inefficiency of resources treatment. We're going into a world of scarcity. We come here all the way to Rio to talk about sustainable development. Are we going to burn resources? We can do much better than that. Just avoid it. It's that simple sometimes. This is a place in Italy where you can go with your bottle and just refill your bottle. This is a milk dispenser. There are many examples of that. So I think the message is pretty clear. If you can't reuse it, if you can't recycle, if you can't compost it, just don't do it. Don't make it. Stop it. In the end, the good thing about waste is that we made it. So it's really up to us to stop doing it. Thank you very much. I invite everyone to look at the publication that we just did. It's Zero Waste Case Studies, where you can see the details and the technicalities of the policies of the places that I'd mentioned, and many more cases. Thank you very much.